Professor Pete here. Still looking at week 4. We're looking at lighting now in Unreal. Let's have a look at the lights themselves that are in the project. So you have the light sources, directional light, and you can see there's the light color. If you want to adjust this, you can change it to a different color. And see how it changes the color of the ground for the most part, and maybe a little bit of the shadows. If you're happy with it, click OK. Here's the angle, the source of the angle. You can adjust this as well. But I like to just leave it as defaults. The casting of shadows, indirect light sensitivity, not really that big of a difference. The other light that's in there is a skylight, so this is a little bit different from a directional. It takes in the light from the scene itself, sky distance, the intensity, the light color as well is in here, and that changes the color a little bit of the sky, maybe more of the shadows, as you can see there. So I'm trying to exaggerate a little bit of red, so you can see the red. It looks like a hot day. Further along, you have atmospheric fog, and this is kind of hard to see. So if I were just to delete it, you'll notice that when I do delete it, the fog that's on the horizon changes a little bit. Didn't change much. The other couple things that are in here that are useful is the sky dome. Let me go and try to find it. So here's the sky sphere blueprint. This is also quite very, very handy. There's an override setting which has to do with the color, which you figure the color of the sky could be done this way, but not so easy. There's the sun brightness. You can increase the brightness of that sun. You can also change the cloud speed and maybe even remove all the sun and have stars instead. So under the sky sphere blueprint, you have those, have the base here, and you have the sky sphere mesh. Now this is where you can, just zoom in a little bit, where you can change the color of the sky. So under the sky sphere mesh, go under materials, you have the sky sphere mesh, you have the materials element 0. You double click on this, it'll take you to the parent, which is sky painting clouds. Click on that, you can zoom out, right click, and you'll see the overall color. This is where you can adjust this. So I'm going to exaggerate with the purple, and I'll hit X to close out the material, editor, save it out, and now when I close the, you'll see that the clouds are, from the sky sphere at least, looking pink. Now to change the color of the sky itself, so that's how, to deal with the atmosphere of the sky and the lighting of the environment. Now let's have a look at some other lights we can apply to our scene. And it's using additional directional, there's points, spots, and another skylight. Just for the purpose of it, I'm just going to put in, there's the spotlight and there's the light color. So pretty similar to what you'd see in 3ds Max. You have the intensity, the attenuation in terms of the size of it, in terms of how far it goes in terms of the bleeding. You have the source is radius, and the soft. You can use the temperature if you want. Turns on the Kelvin of the light. You've got whether it's visible or invisible. So that's the point light. Then you have a spotlight, again pretty similar, runs through a dome, and you can see that it lights. It's pretty faint in terms of the lighting, but it has to do with, of course, the intensity. So you increase the intensity, and there it is. You change the direction of it. The rectangle light is good for against the wall, for example. You want to just shoot down on something. So it's a flattened, more or less like a flattened light. And again, the intensity, the light color, things like that. The source width as well, increase it. So if you have like light underneath a door, maybe it's a double door, you can adjust the width. The height is not going to affect it too much. There's also barn doors, so you can affect how much it bleeds over. So you can see if I have the barn doors at 0, it's really faint. But again, I wouldn't spend so much time using that one. I do like the temperature. You can adjust the temperature very easily. So we already have a skylight, but there's a skylight again. But for the most part, directional light, also very useful and handy. I wouldn't put too many directional lights in there. I'd probably just stick with the skylight and one directional light. And then if you have other point lights or spotlights you want to add or tangle lights, that's totally fine. So that's all I wanted to show. I wanted to show how you can modify the sky a bit and then also the different lights in Unreal. Professor Pete out. Keep learning. Stay curious. See you in the next video.